Who am I? I'm a Dodger fan. I am the son of a fallen officer.
I'm a musician. I'm a mariachi.
Por ahí viene el gavilán, por ahí viene ella volando.
Growing up, music was always a part of my family, mainly the guitar. A lot of my uncles played the guitar. I grew up around it. It wasn't until about ninth grade that's when I finally truly learned how to play.
I made the jump from performing within the guitar concerts to performing within the mariachi group. It wasn't until my junior year that I really became friends with the leader, and between the both of us, we took the mariachi to heights it had never been before. We would do a bit that was the song was called El Colesterol. It's literally translated into cholesterol. It's a song about husband and wife that she wants to make him food, but he's saying that his cholesterol is high, so he can't eat her fatty foods. The premise sounds so weird. You know, the song is actually really a really good song, but we took it to a different level that neither of us truly thought it would get to. It kind of became the signature song because I would dress up like a woman, you know, a housewife. I put on just crazy, silly makeup, a dress, and again, just the way that we performed that song, it was unreal, really. We began opening concerts for groups such as Los Raileros del Norte, Michael Salgado, and finally, Fito Olivares. For us to be selected for, it was the National School Board Association. The keynote speaker that year was Christopher Reeve. And while we were there, we performed at an auditorium and they seated about 14,000 people. By the end of our performance, we played about a 17-minute set. We just did just a big medley of songs. Ended with Colesterol. When we played it, we, we really did rock the house. And at the very end, we received a standing ovation. 14,000 people all stood and cheered. We thought that we had peaked, and that was actually still just the beginning. Cool. After my friend graduated, we decided, hey, we should make our own mariachi group. We decided to name it Mariachi Corazón del Desierto, which is the heart of the desert. To us, we felt that we were different because we truly had our heart set into performing, into playing music. We were a different type of mariachi. We were more of a show mariachi. We enjoyed it, and that's how we made a name for ourselves. The school had recorded 2 CDs. The director himself recorded it. They were already kind of established. Once I joined, we recorded 2 CDs, my sophomore and my senior year. And while all that was going on, once again, as a community group, this had never been done. We were excelling, and right off the bat, we recorded our own CD, which I think to this day still might be the only CD um, made by a community mariachi group. We've had soloists that have done their own with other recordings, other pistas. By pistas, I mean basically they're kind of like karaoke tracks. But as far as a community mariachi group, we were breaking ground and just reaching new heights. Although we were reaching new heights, I knew I wanted to be better. I knew I could be better, but I felt as though I was being held back. We had our first concert still within my senior year, and we packed the place. We sold out. By our second concert, things had changed. We were invited to go to Guadalajara for their main this is like a month long mariachi conference. This was a big deal. There were only like three groups from the United States that were invited, and we were one of them. When we played that first time that we were there, we were sort of kind of seen as just a small group, nothing special. So they put us, a couple of weird places. Like we played at a dealership and a restaurant. That was those were our two performances that highlighted the entire conference, the entire trip for us. But out of that, they saw, hey, you know what? They're a young group, but they're not just somebody from the US. These guys are for real. Around that time of our second concert and after Guadalajara, personally, I went through a lot. I was going through depression. I was flunking out of school, out of college, my freshman year, and it was a trying time. And at that time, all I had was mariachi. That was it. Flash forward to 2007, I was getting better. We had a joint concert with really well respected, really well liked mariachi out of Las Cruces. They were some of our good friends, and we had one of our best concerts, really. And again, here we started to feel, wow, this is it. We're starting to peak, and then it all came crashing down. Unfortunately, our leader was stealing money from our main sponsor, Sam Baca. He ended up doing prison time, and as a group, we were at a crossroads. Between me and one of the other members, I called him over to the house. We had a good sit down, and between us, we discussed it and said, "Hey, we need to decide right now. Are we going to keep going, or are we going to just die off?" And we decided no, we were going to keep going. We're also invited to go back to Guadalajara, but we didn't have the funds to make that conference. But we decided, you know what, we still wanted to do it, so we started taking gigs left and right. And at that point, the alpha was gone, so it was time for I saw it as time for me to step up, get better, and you know take hold of that brass ring. The way that mariachi is respected over there in Guadalajara, bar none. Something I still to this day I've never seen that. So here we go again. Our very first gig is in a Walmart parking lot. So we're like, really? I thought we were over this. When we played first at that dealership, here we go again. Now we're playing in a parking lot. Lo and behold, that parking lot filled up, and that set the tone for the rest of the conference. We played that night with two other groups. One was a really young group, and one was intermediate, like considered like us. But they said, you know what, you guys go ahead and go on last. And as any musician would know, if you're last, that means you are the final show. So you need to be better than the group before you. So we took that challenge, and again, that brought up that really brought our reputation high. On our way to one of the performances there in Guadalajara, our bus actually we got lost. So we ended up delayed going to the plaza where we were going to play. The main group that was going to play, they were Mariachi Camperos de Naticano. To put it the equivalent, it would be kind of like, I don't want to say necessarily the Rolling Stones, but I mean they're a professional group, and due to the time constraints, everything else, they still allowed us to perform, but Camperos ended up playing first. So essentially, we just by sheer coincidence, luck, whatever you want to call it, uh, we ended up having to perform last. So I joke around and say that Camperos actually opened for us that night, and we closed down the show. And thankfully, that was probably one of our best concerts that we had probably ever done anywhere, and we were very proud of that. We were influencing the younger generation and paving the way for more mariachis to form within the community. We consider ourselves more than friends. We were family. Eventually, some of that family had to leave, and they would be replaced by newer members. These new members also became family, but it wasn't like before. Little by little, a lot of the original members, they ended up having to quit. Family life, got in the way. Jobs got in the way. And the same also went for me. I had to take a step back. I had just started working for the state as a park ranger, and you know my time was starting to be limited, especially on the weekends. The weekends was when we had our gigs, and I just wasn't able to make them anymore. Another issue that arose from that was I joined the police academy. That was, that took up all of my time. I was having to be in Santa Fe, and they had to move on without me. I came back as soon as I could, picked up where I left off. We still continued to have concerts, and we were still sounding better even with the new members. We were playing really tough songs, and musically we were at the top once again. But all good things must come to an end. Next thing I knew, more members got out. We had newer members, and our musicianship really struggled. We were almost starting from scratch with a lot of these members, and it just became more of a chore, and it wasn't fun anymore. When we started the mariachi, I was one of the younger members. By the time I played my last gig with Corazon, I had become the oldest member. It was tough. Not gonna lie, it was tough to see where we were at that moment in time, and just remembering how good it was. But I can look back now and see a lot of the seeds that we planted back then. I saw so many groups, so much talent come out of not just our group, but out of the other groups within Deming. Just knowing that we paved the way for them. We were the trailblazers, and I will forever be grateful. And I'll forever be a mariachi.